Um, Ira, I think I found a location that's going to give me better reception. And here's what's funny. After yesterday, Ira, I went back to that same location. They locked the doors on me. I think they were like, "Who is this guy? We don't want him here." And they locked me out. So, that's why I always ask for forgiveness versus permission because I knew they probably didn't want me in there. However, I needed to find a quiet space.
I do too.
How you doing, man?
Excellent.
I like that answer, man. Most people don't have that type of answer when I say how you doing. If you don't mind me asking, why so excellent?
Oh my God, I had the most fun listing appointment last night.
What was fun about it?
What was fun about it, these are clients that I met 3 years ago because I hosted an open house for Amrita. They didn't like her property, but they became affiliated with me as buyers. And I found them a place, a couple of months later, and they closed on this place in Allendale, and now they want to sell it. So we've already stayed in contact. They know me. I brought all of the usual paperwork and bound booklets and whatever with me, and they said, we don't need to see any of that stuff. Just what's the number and what date are we listing?
I love that, man. And Ira, you do such a good job staying in touch with people. You ever read that report that comes out from NAR, and it essentially says that most people would use their agent again, but they just don't remember who they are?
Yes, yeah. James Shaw shares that with us.
It never will happen with you because you do a good job staying top of mind. So when people think real estate, they think you, and that's fun.
And the funny thing is, I just brought the regular stuff that I bring to every listing appointment, and he stopped me. The husband stopped me at one point, and he said, "Can I just tell you that you are so prepared?" And I said, "Walter, this is my job. I have to be prepared.
Yes, sir.
If I don't come in prepared, you're not going to hire me." So,
And that's it. That's it.
and I said I learned from a lot of really great people and attend a lot of sessions whereby we keep fortifying what we're supposed to do and so yeah, I'm just doing my job.
You're doing your job. And listen, Ira, how's the saying go? When you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Right? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me just say this for the people on Instagram. I think I found a good location where my computer Wi-Fi is working, but Instagram Live keeps saying poor connectivity. So if it's pausing, that's why. So if you guys really want to get on, hop on Zoom because Instagram is not working with me right now. So I don't want to waste a lot of time. I have a special guest on here this morning, Ron Lugashi. Ron, it's always good to see you, man. Before we get started with Ron, I wanted to prep you guys. Ron is very giving. He's very open, and he's willing to answer any questions that you guys have. And it always amazes me when we have a special guest like this, and I say, "Who has a question?" You guys don't. So start thinking of the questions for Ron, and I will do my best to get to everyone's question. I already have Rachel over here on Instagram that has a question, so I'll make sure that we pose that. Before I get started, though, I do want to hear gratitude. I think it's really important to start our day with gratitude every morning. And so I want to hear gratitude from a couple of people. I'd like to hear gratitude this morning from Kevin, and I'd like to hear gratitude from Michelle. And Michelle, again, great job last night on the pre-qualification script. Kevin, what are you grateful for?
Which Kevin? You talking about me or the other one?
Kevin B.
Oh, me. Okay. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be a part of this group and to learn and to get all the information that I've been looking to get for the last year or two because I couldn't get that information. So I'm definitely appreciative of being here with everybody and learning all the information.
Man, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you showing up for yourself, man. That's awesome. That's what I love to see. Michelle, yourself, what are you grateful for?
Good morning, everyone. So it's funny, the verse of the day spoke to me in different ways. For yesterday, I think you were telling me like listen intently in so many words. So the verse of the day is, "So then, my beloved brethren, let everyone be swift to hear and slow to speak." And then it goes on and says slow to wrath. So I think, that encouraged me based on what I did yesterday, which was doing the pre-qualification questions. And it just taught me that I need to listen more, closely, be prepared with my questions, and then be able to respond with the appropriate question. So I'm grateful for yesterday being able to come on here and do that presentation. It really pushed me forward in the direction that I'm more confident. I found myself reading this pre-qualification script over and over and over again, and it actually became fun. I started to look at it in different ways of which to say the questions. So yeah, I really feel like if we were to go deeper, that would actually help us more. And for me, that verse really spoke to that. So, David, you all planted the seed yesterday, and it's funny how God just he came full circle. So, thank you all so much for that opportunity.
I love that. And like I said last night, Barclay always says, you know, it's not a listing presentation, it's a listening presentation. And when we know our script and it's internalized, we can really spend more time and be in the conversation and really listen. And then we know how to respond and what to say. So thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Betty, thank you so much for always helping me, you know, come up with topics, especially when I have guests like Ron. I really appreciate you. And I did talk to
You
Ron.
got it.
Absolutely. And Ron's on here today. We're going to talk about, you know, whatever comes to mind for him. However, in this market with buyers, you know, inventory is sitting a little bit longer. What can we do to, you know, tighten up our offers and make sure our offers are getting accepted? And then we have a couple of other topics we're going to talk about when it comes to, you know, filling out the contract and working with buyers and getting that buyer agreement signed. Those are some of the things that we are going to be able to talk about today. Plus, I have a question from Rachel. So, Ron, without further ado, man, I so appreciate you being here. I think one thing I'm always impressed with about you, Ron, is that you know your lore, you know your numbers. If I asked you, I don't know, Ron, let me ask you, how many active properties are there in Fairlawn, New Jersey today?
26. 25 if you take off the one that highest and best yesterday.
Okay, so let me stop right there. If y'all can't spit your numbers out like that, you need to start learning your numbers, especially if that's your market. I should be able to ask you how many active, how many sold, how many days on market. I know I can act on that because every morning that's his routine to look at the numbers. I love that. So Ron, I'm going to give you the floor, man. You know, the couple things that we want to talk about, and then I'd love to leave about 5-7 minutes at the end just for some Q&A if you're okay with that.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Many of you actually don't know me because I haven't been on here for a while. Sorry about that. My apologies. I really need to show up more. The first thing I want to do is really thank you for being here today. And the goal of today's conversation is to provide you guys value and as much value as I possibly can. All right, guys. So we're going to get into it. My name is Ron Lugashi with the Zamir Group, Keller Williams Village Square, technically at Ridgewood. We do have our mega agent office in Fairlawn, and I'm here to serve. So let's get going. Market conditions. Let's talk about market conditions. What kind of market conditions are we in? And I will share with you that if we don't have something, we can't give it. If we don't know something, we can't share it. That means if we don't know the market conditions, then how are we ever going to communicate it to our buyers and sellers? So what kind of market conditions are we in?
I would say we're in a shifting market a bit, but we're still in the seller's market.
What else?
I would say an interesting market.
Or challenging.
Every market has its share of challenges, right? And every market is interesting in its own way. So what I'll share with you guys is that, yes, we are in a very strong seller's market, as Betty said. If you're looking at months of inventory, we have just shy of above 2 months of inventory in all of Bergen County as far as single-family homes go. Bergen County as a whole has 800 single-family homes active as of last night. And that is a little bit higher. Actually, it's much higher than what it was 3 months ago. 3 months ago, back in May, it was almost half that. We were in the fours. It was, its lowest point that I saw was 455 single-family homes active. Now, we have 70 towns in Bergen County, New Jersey. That's still not enough homes. Now, the majority of those homes, they're overpriced, sure. They're overpriced by different amounts. So that's where we come in, too. The ratio is typically 80-20. Now, going back to explaining what's the phenomenon, what happened between May, June, July, what happened in the very few months where the inventory almost doubled as far as active single-family homes go in Bergen County. More people wanted to sell. They're not selling as quickly. The days on market went from 35 to 45 days. So did the buyers disappear? What do you guys think? Is the demand still there? Why is supply increasing? Not increasing enough. It has to increase tenfold, but it's increasing.
I think the buyers are fatigued and also because of the, high interest rates. So I
And
think those two things combined together, buyers are
yeah,
taking a pause
it's
a little
possible for
bit.
some. It's possible for some of them, Betty. Yet what I see is people are still paying. Now,
I do.
if we look at the numbers always tell a story, right? So the numbers are really, really important because it takes emotion out of it. We can just look at the numbers. Numbers say that the highest median price in Bergen County's history happened when? For a single family home.
Likely
Yes.
during COVID.
So, yeah.
It was actually last month, June. Highest numbers ever. The median price in Bergen County, New Jersey was $877,000. When was the second highest number ever for a median price in Bergen County?
May.
I was gonna say May, right?
A month before that. So what does that tell us? The
We're
people are
still in
still
the,
paying.
yeah,
People are still
seller.
paying. So yeah, no, the sellers are still getting top dollar. They're getting more than they ever did. Um, it's amazing to see that the prices are still high, even with the high prices and the high interest rates. People are still buying. The demand is still there. What I'm seeing on the ground is that listing agents and sellers are just pricing their properties higher. So you're seeing, if you're pricing it correctly, you're still seeing multiple offers. Multiple offers is still the name of the game. Still story of my life. I'm still seeing it right and left. Of course, it depends what price range you're working in. But in my price range, in my neck of the woods, yeah, it's multiple offers all the time. So if you're pricing something correctly, the buyers come out and they come out big. You'll get 5, 8, 10, 12 offers if you price it correctly. That's a pricing strategy, listing strategy, negotiation strategy on the list side. How you do that, that's your business. But if you underprice it or price it correctly, you'll get multiple offers. You'll see 30, 40, 50 people, 100 people come to your property over a weekend. The buyer's still out there. Demand is high. They're just, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe reluctant, right? Because of the higher prices. So that's what I'm seeing on the ground. Anybody want to add to that, what they're saying?
Well, Ron, I
I,
have a comment on here from Instagram from Rachel, and she says, buyers seem to be circling around more. They're pretty reluctant to pull the trigger, especially like in her market, the condo market. So she wanted to know, are there any strategies you recommend to get them to pull the trigger and get off the sidelines?
Yeah. So in any market, buyers need to be what?
educated.
Motivated and coachable.
Yeah.
Motivated.
What do they need to be?
I'd
Ready,
say
Ready,
willing, and
willing, and
able.
able.
right.
Ready,
Willing, and
willing,
able.
and able. And an A-plus
Hmm.
buyer in today's environment has not changed. My definition is, yes, they have to be ready, willing, and able, yet they also have to be willing to do whatever it takes in order to obtain. So if you don't have a buyer that's willing to do whatever it takes, they're going to be on the sidelines for a little bit longer. Not forever. They'll eventually obtain something, but it's going to take a little bit longer, right? So when we have a buyer reluctance or sense of urgency isn't so high, that's fine. And they may not just be ready. You have to decide how much time, energy, and effort you want to invest into this particular client. Buyers can lose focus, what drives them sometimes. Maybe get focused on price. Uh, a lot of buyers buy into that old myth that they want to try to time the market because they're not trying to overpay. But in today's environment, it's still compete or go next a lot of the times. But going back to the product where I said, yeah, there's always two types of product: the overpriced, about 80% of in any town, to 20% that's priced correctly or even underpriced. It's our job to know which is which. It's not their job because they don't know. They don't do this on a day-to-day basis. We do. So that's where our expertise comes in. That's where we're going to consult, advise, give them all the information so they can make a good real estate decision, right? So we're the advisors, we're the experts, we're the consultants. We always have to remind them, we you buy right and you do well over time, right? Just just have to go back to that motivation. If they want to continue leasing, or they want to continue living with their family, or they want to continue living in a hotel, or they, whatever that motivation is, we always have to go back to that. We have to educate them, and we also have to build trust, because without the trust in us, they're less likely going to do whatever it takes in order to obtain.
And Ron, I heard you say an A buyer. So for the agents on here that are new, that are starting to work with buyers, and they're spending a lot of time with folks that are reluctant, what's the easiest way you can tell them to break down their pipeline and how to categorize who an A buyer is, who a B buyer is, who a C buyer is?
Well, we have to discover what type of buyer they are, and the way that we discover is through conversation. Best conversation to have is something called a buyer consultation, presentation, strategy session, whatever you want to call it. We can conduct a buyer consultation, or we can only discover that they're a C buyer after showing them 30 homes. It's up to us. I definitely recommend spending 30 minutes over showing them 30 homes to discover what type of buyer they are. Going back to the conversation that you had with Michelle just before, the number one script that we should be internalizing, and every person that we meet, we're going to pre-qualify them. Right? We're going to ask them basic questions, and they're going to answer the questions. If you ask the questions, you'll discover that people will answer the questions. And for those people that are not answering the questions, they're a rare breed. They're the exception. I don't want to be working with them anyway. So it's important to internalize that pre-qualification script, discover as much information as you can while communicating value at the same time. And it's the best way to discover if they're an A, B, C, D buyer.
And I'm putting you on the spot here. On the Friday, would you be willing to join the Friday script practice and actually go through what a great buyer consultation looks like and role play that out with an agent?
Yes, sure. How much time do we have?
Today, you mean on Friday?
Friday.
Friday, I'll give you a whole hour if you need it.
Okay, then that's good enough for a whole class. You go buyer consultation class, and then part of that will be a role play.
Good. I want to be able to really break this down because I know a lot of people.
Thank you.
Right. We need it, don't we? We need that, man, because people are just going out and they're meeting. And like you said, Ron, they're showing people 30 and 40 houses before they decide to have that conversation. And they start realizing pretty quickly they've been wasting their time spending time with C buyers where they should be focused on the A's. So, yeah, we'll definitely get that scheduled this month.
So what it looks like is it's going to be about 30 minutes of class time, 17 to 25 minutes of the actual role play, which depends how many questions the being the buyer has, and then Q&A at the end.
Love it. We're wrapping up pretty quickly, so I want to see if anyone has any questions for you because I want to give them an opportunity to ask their questions. Go ahead and raise your hand if you guys. Michelle, go ahead, please.
First of all, Ron, thank you so much for your presentation today and information that you shared. And one of the things that I wanted to know is specifically what are the numbers that you're looking at on like I know at the top of the month and then also on a daily basis. I know that you're looking at active souls, days on market. Is there anything else that you're focusing or lasering in on?
I'm down to take it. I always recommend agents take it a little bit deeper than that. When I'm looking at the numbers, I'm looking at it on a daily basis, not necessarily monthly or quarterly. If you're looking at monthly or quarterly, you kind of lose touch as to what's going on. If if you have a particular niche or area of expert, or a product or an area, it could be a product, it doesn't have to be an area. Like if you're an expert in condos, you might want to know what's going on with the condo market. But definitely the actives. But if you're in a niche, like if you're in Bergenfield, well, you might want to know that there's 17 active in Bergenfield. And if you're in Elmwood Park, you might want to know that there's 10 active in Elmwood Park. So and beyond that, the step further to increase that level of expertise, go see them. So a little bit of footwork. Just go see all the active. Now, how many homes in your particular area, in your particular town, are new per week? 1 house, 2 house, 3 properties. There's not that many. So how long would it take to see 1, 2, 3, 4 properties? Not very long at all. You can probably get it done in a quick 30 to 40 minutes, depending on geography, how far they are from each other. When we go preview a property, we're in there for like not even 3-4 minutes. We're pretty much in and out. We're not going to spend too much time in there yet. If the first time we see a property is with the client, it's a different kind of experience. They might be in there for a half hour knowing that they're not going to be interested in the house anyway. So it's of value to us. It's of value to the client. We're actually seeing the properties beforehand, so that when we get those phone calls or we get those clients, we've already seen the inventory. We're very familiar with the inventory. We're experts in the inventory. Beyond that, in your locales, you might want to know the local schools. You might want to know the transportation. You might know the best places to eat, best places to closest highways. All the basic information that a buyer might ask. You might want to get familiar with it. That'll increase your level of expertise. That'll also increase the likelihood that you're able to communicate value, and it increase the likelihood that they'll hire, choose us, work with us.
I love that. Trina, I'll give you the final question. Go ahead, Trina.
Good morning, everyone. Ron, thank you very much. My question is along the lines of Michelle as well. But what if you answered pretty much everything, but what if you don't really concentrate on one specific area? What would you suggest for the agent that doesn't, maybe works with the multiple buyers in Bergen, Essex, Hudson County? Like, what should they do?
You're going to be scattered, especially as a new agent. You're going to be all over the place. You're going to take any piece of business that comes your way, which is fine. Whatever those clients are interested in, get familiar with that type of inventory. So if you have a client that's interested in a certain price point in a certain area, just get familiar with that price point in that area. You don't have to go see a bunch of homes if it's 45 minutes away. You can go see the 2 or 3 that happen to be in the price range. I get from the same thing. There's by going on Google, it's easy enough to see what the transportation is like. What schools they have. There's just basic information about the town population.
And their go-to to that should solely be their MLS?
Yeah, the MLS, all information on the MLS, depending on, unfortunately, in New Jersey, we have several MLSs. So it just depends what area you're working, of course.
All right.
Thank you.
Ron, I'll be reaching out to you maybe for the 18th of July. I'll get you a couple dates and we can figure out when you'll come back and actually do that buyer consultation class. I really appreciate that, man. I know it's going to bring so much value to everyone on here that's spending a lot of time working with B and C buyers, and they really need to be focused on the A's and learn how to determine who is an A. So I appreciate your time this morning. It's good to see you. And like Ira said in the comments, man, no need to apologize for not being here. And yet every time you come, you provide value. So we'd love to see you more.
For having me. Have a great day, everybody.
All right. Brenda, what's up, B? Where you at?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
We're doing fantastic. We're ready to hear a word from you.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, be thankful for all the struggles you go through. They make you stronger, wiser, and humble. Don't let it break you, let it make you. Changes will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. Have an amazing day, guys.
Man, that's a great word right there, Brenda. Thank you for that. It's a great way to wrap up the call. I appreciate you. And I just want to wrap up with a reminder. Tomorrow morning at 8:30, we're going to be going through the entire listing presentation. Tim Ho is going to be the agent. Elwood Lewis is going to be the seller. Tim is going to have time to go through the entire presentation, soup to nuts, close for the actual listing, and then afterwards, he'll give feedback on what he did well and what he can improve on. So it's going to be a great exercise. You guys really want to be plugged in. If you want to interact and give feedback, you need to be on Zoom. And so I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. You guys go have a good rest of your day. Ron, thank you again for being here and providing value. I appreciate you. Ira, thanks again for everything you do to help me out with this call. I appreciate you as well. Y'all be good.
Peace in the Middle East.
Great
Oh,
day,
look at
everyone.
Reiko
Great day.
again. Hey, Reiko.
Rachel been up on here. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Look, this is where all the cool people are at.
David, look at your text real quick.
Okay. Oh, on my phone?
Yeah.
All right, hold on 1 second.
Hey, Steven. Look at you.
Steve, I didn't even know you was on here. I thought Steve was on
Yeah,
here.
good
morning, Steve. What's going on?
Let's
Okay.
do it. Great day, everyone. Great
Oh,
day.
good for you. Look, I see some good people today.
Oh, and listen, while y'all are still on here, and I appreciate Steve keeps me on my toes, and I love that. So here's a goal. Here's a call to action for you guys, and I really want you guys to lean into this, especially if you're getting value, and I trust that you are because you keep showing up. Let's not gatekeep. I want you to do this. One person one person that you know. It doesn't matter how long they've been in real estate. It doesn't matter what company they work for. It doesn't matter where they live. If you're getting value, share this information with them. Invite them to join us on Tuesday. I actually have a really special guest coming on Tuesday, Justin with Carnegie Title. We had a conversation a couple weeks ago about preparing a seller net sheet, and a lot of you guys said, yes, I need training around that. Well, that's going to happen on Tuesday. So it's going to be a great call to invite someone to. You're going to get some good value and also access to the resources to help you with the seller net. So, Steve, thank you for that reminder. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys later on. Y'all be good.
Sure.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, everyone.
Hey, what you doing,
Yeah,
man?
yeah, exactly. What you doing,
What's
Tachi?
going on, dude? What's good,
Street
man?
fighting?
If you didn't know, no, I'm in Jacksonville right now for my son AAU track championship, national championship. So that's where I'm at literally right now at North Florida University. So that's where we at right now. Right now, I'm just in a tunnel right now, keeping cool. But if you look behind me, it's the track right here. So, you know, that's where I'm at. I don't got no sexy view right now because I'm not at the hotel, you know.
I hear you.
This is the track right here.
He
Track right here.
is
Oh, that's good, man.
hilarious.
I don't got it, but right, yeah. So I said I could jump on before he's about to run at 11 o'clock.
Oh,
So
that's so dope.
I gotta say hi to y'all. Y'all my people. Y'all my family. So I gotta check in with you.
Love
Exactly.
you
It
checking in.
makes it makes the day go better. I swear. It really does.
Yeah, I hear you. So I'm staying cool, man. I'm still here, ducked down, hiding from the sun. I got my fan on, trying to keep me cool. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, man.
Yeah, it's different
Yeah.
down here. I love it though. It's a different heat down here. It's different. It's different. But I love it though.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're able to show up for your son, man. You're a good dad, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully I'll see you guys on Friday morning. Y'all be good and enjoy the rest of y'all's Thursday.
So wait, tomorrow's 8:30.
Tomorrow's 8:30. Regular script practice. 8:30. Did I say a different time?
No, I just want to make sure because
Yeah,
I have
tomorrow's
something to
8:30,
do.
and I really
So do
want
we
you
have to
there.
have our camera on? Because I'm going to be all over the place
So for
tomorrow.
Zoom tomorrow, when I do
Okay, thank God.
live
Okay.
listing presentations, I don't require that you guys have your camera on because it's really about just Tim and Elwood actually going through the presentation. If you have questions for them or feedback for them, then I'm going to ask you to turn your camera on. But for the
No, that's fine because I mean I have these past days I've been everywhere. So I want to. Of course, I'm going to be here, but my camera will probably be on and off. But I'm here. 8:30.
All right. I appreciate you as always. Y'all be good. Have a good rest of your Thursday.
Okay, enjoy your day. Reiko, I got to call